Hello, everyone out there in LinkedIn and YouTube land, everyone who's following me, everybody who's excited about this day. I am super excited about it. I'm Jonathan Otero, and we are doing a new series called Up Close with Uniti, where we're going to introduce you guys to the folks at Uniti Fiber so you can see how the magic happens behind the screen. So you can see what I see being inside of Uniti now. So I'm so excited to be with you guys. A little housekeeping as we get started here before I introduce our guests. We're streaming live right now on LinkedIn, streaming live right now on YouTube. Super excited about that. So if you guys have any questions as you start to hear, something pops in your mind, feel free to put those questions in the chat. I'll be able to view those and we can ask our guests live on the air directly. You'll get a chance to speak to the person that I have for you right now. So let me introduce who I have, because I'm super excited and I want to do less talking. I always do posts about salespeople talk too much. So let me stop talking and let me just bring them in. So really quick, a short description of Uniti Fiber. In case you don't know, it's one of the leading providers of infrastructure solutions for internet, Ethernet, wavelength, dark fiber, SD-WAN, voice services, managed services for enterprise businesses. And when it comes to serving the community, there's a bunch of folks that make that happen. So the guest that I have on today is Joe Patton, VP of Sales for Uniti Fiber. How's it going, Joe?
Doing great, John. How are you?
I'm super excited. I'm doing well, and I'm super excited to be with you. So I want to get right into it. And again, for the folks that are just hopping on, if you're getting the notification right now, because we're a little bit delayed on LinkedIn and YouTube, if you guys are getting the notification now, make sure if you have any questions for Joe or myself, feel free to ask them in the chat, and I'll get to those questions as soon as I possibly can. But Joe, I got some questions for you directly that I want to ask, because I think it's so important for the folks out there to understand who's the people behind making, Uniti, making stuff happen. So let me ask you this question. There's been so much growth with Uniti. You've been with the company for over six years, almost seven years. You have extensive knowledge in the telecom industry, previously with Level 3, FiberLight, Global Capacity, and now Uniti Fiber. So you've seen a lot of change in the telecom industry, right?
Yeah, a ton of change. Yes, I have. I've been in the industry for 31 years now.
Look at that. And so when it comes to Uniti, I've seen, and I've just being in the background before I came on board, the growth that's been going on. We launched in Jacksonville a couple of years ago. We launched last year in Tampa. We're getting ready to do Orlando pretty soon, hopefully. And so all these things are happening, lots and lots of change. So in your opinion, Joe, I'm curious, at your level, being the VP of sales, what do you think makes Uniti unique in this industry?
Wow. So let me take one step back and share that I started off at MCI as a customer service representative in 1990. And MCI was a very unique company, did fantastic training of their people, and had an incredible culture. So they really built, and you'll see plenty of people out there on LinkedIn and other social medias that have a background from MCI. They did a phenomenal job of building a great culture, and that's really carried forward in my career throughout the different places I've stayed. But you have to have a company that matches that culture that you want to provide for your people. The company has to support that. And it's rare to find a company that embodies the culture that I've been seeking ever since those early days of early 1990s. And Uniti Fiber, that's one of the things that makes us unique, is from our CEO of Uniti Group, Kenny Gunderman, all the way down the ranks. Everybody at Uniti Fiber is very excited to be here. There's a book out there called Firms of Endearment that I've read a few times, and it's not, there's 240 million sales books out there, and books of business success and leadership and so forth. But this book really talks about focusing on the fundamentals and having balance. And I think that's what we do really well here at Uniti Fiber. We have a balance between our ownership, our employees, and our customers. We focus on all three of those legs of the stool, if you will, from the book, that really keeps us in balance. Without that, you focus on one and not the other two, or two and not the third one, then you tend to start slipping. You still may be a great company, but not as unique as Uniti Fiber. We're really focused on a full 360 view of our business and making sure that, you know, our customers feel like our employees feel like our owners feel, and that's all, you know, good.
I love that. And you know, it's almost like you teed up, it almost like we rehearsed this, but we didn't, because you teed up my next question, right? About you mentioned about the customers. We started talking about Uniti, why we're unique, but really the focus should be on the customers always. And you know that. And so at Uniti, we pride ourselves on being unique because we can custom tailor the solution to fit the needs. We don't just have we don't just sell vanilla and chocolate, right? If the customer wants strawberry, we give them strawberry, right? And so what if that's the case, help me now. Customize could be a very, you know, a loose term that everyone likes to throw out, but explain to me, how do we at Uniti really customize the solution to fit a customer's needs?
That's a great question. So you know, customization starts with listening. We've said this many times, and I stole this from a sales trainer from my old days, and I can't remember exactly who coined it, but you know, we don't like to we all over our customers. We do this, we do that, we do this. I prefer that we listen to our customers, have a business discussion with them, find out where their challenges are, where their successes are, help, you know, allow our technology and our infrastructure, you know, expand on their strengths and fill gaps for their weaknesses. So it's really about listening and understanding what your customers' needs are, and not forcing yourself on the customer, but really inviting them into the technologies that you have that can support their needs.
Awesome. And so, you know, it's as we're you know, people are funneling in on the live, you know, welcome to everyone who joined on LinkedIn and YouTube. As you guys are here, if you have any questions for Joe or myself, just a reminder, feel free to put those questions in the chat and we'll get to those as soon as possible. We don't have Joe for that long, by the way, guys. This is the VP of sales. He's got to go, right? So we got to get as many questions in as possible. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat. I'll try my best to get to them as soon as we can. So Joe, let me ask you this question. You know, most salespeople, right? Us being in sales, you being the VP in sales, I'm being a sales rep. Most salespeople are quick to tell you that what customers care the most about is product and price. That's what they say, right? I mean, I'm telling you from my seat, right?
Right.
I'm telling you. Now, I believe it goes further than that. And I think you know that now by getting to know me for a couple of months already, seeing some of the stuff I do on social. I believe it goes a lot deeper than that. I think when salespeople lose out on the deal, they tell management about the product quality, but it's more than that. It's about recognizing what your buyer's needs are. And the most important thing is having a great sales experience. That's what I think is critical, right? If the customer has a great sales experience, if you make a mistake here and there, because we work in technology, things are going to break. It just happens. But if they have a great sales experience, they'll stick. Do you agree with that?
I do, Jonathan. I tell you, it takes me back to, and I don't tell stories everywhere I go, but it takes me back to the Dunder Mifflin, The Office episode where Dwight and Jim are talking to the customer, and he said, well, you know, if you could shave off some points off your price, then I might be able to go with you guys, but your competition is cheaper. And Dwight immediately picks up his phone and dials the 800 number of their competition and puts them on speakerphone, and they're on hold while Jim's talking about the value of Dunder Mifflin. And then after several minutes, he hangs up and he dials Dunder Mifflin, and somebody answers the phone. And the customer experience is paramount to any relationship, and we focus on that quite a bit. It's important for our salespeople to be trained and understand that we're not pressuring them to get the next deal right now. We want our salespeople to be focused on those relationships and building good, solid solutions for our customers that you know, make for long-term, sustainable relationships. And as you said, things do break. I mean, we're in the network business, network infrastructure. We have fiber optic plant all over the southeastern United States. Well, for that matter, all over the United States. And you know, with the progress of construction and all the different growth that we're seeing in our country, you know, there's drill rigs, there's boring rigs putting new infrastructure in. There's all kinds of things that could disrupt a network. And what makes the difference is how you react to that. I've often said in people's personal lives, sometimes I find myself as a counselor, it's not your mistakes that define you, but it's how you handle them. And holds true to Uniti Fiber and the way we handle any interruptions of service for our customers. We are right on the scene. They have a direct line to many different people in our organization, including myself, all the way up to the president of our organization in our escalation list. And you won't find another company, I don't believe, that reacts as quickly as we do and provides the response that we do in times of need.
Bingo. And I think that's the key, Joe. You know, look, I really believe this in my heart, and I think you've seen this in getting to know me. We're the buyers now. We're no longer the hunters, right? I think the buyers are the hunters. By the time they get to you and I think they've already made most of their decision, right? So they're looking for professional salespeople. I really believe that they recognize the products are generally the same. The pricing is more or less aligned in the marketplace. So it really is, they want a preferred supplier that looks to them as a true partner. Right. And I think that's the whole reason why we did this. That's the reason why I came up with this idea. I said, Joe, I want you to be the first one on, because I think what makes us unique are the people, you and I, the folks that make things happen and make that customer experience better. Do you agree with that?
I absolutely agree with that. And I'll tell you, it's not just the post-sales process that we go through. You know, from a strategy standpoint, our salespeople are aligned with the success of the customer through their entire life cycle, post-sale, as far as, you know, how they are compensated. But in addition to that, just in the pre-sales part of the interaction with our customers, that's critical, Jonathan. I mean, we don't want to be a door-to-door sales team that just drops off a card and waits for a phone call, or drops off a card and tries to schmooze the gatekeeper or whatever. We really want to have business-to-business conversations with our customers so they see the value that we bring. Look, technology is growing like crazy. The Nielsen's law, Jacob Nielsen back in 1984 coined Nielsen's law, the internet doubles every 2 years. So every year it grows by 50%. And that has held true. Last year it grew even faster than that, or more than that, because of COVID. We may see even a continuation of that for now. But that holds true. And so the demand is out there. And customers need to know that they can trust and enjoy, and I did say enjoy, their relationship with their vendor. How many people out there can say they enjoy their relationship with their telecommunications vendor? I guarantee you, if you poll our customers, and I'd love to be able to do that here someday, we've got an extraordinary amount of customers that really truly enjoy our relationships, because we develop those over time and not just trying to force you know, something to fit in our desires.
Right. And so, you know, so just to reset here, we're talking with Joe Patton, the VP of Sales, Vice President of Sales for Uniti Fiber. And we're on LinkedIn Live and YouTube Live. Welcome everyone who's watching. Any questions you have for Joe and myself, feel free to post those in the chat. And, you know, we talked about the customer. We talked about a little bit Uniti. I want to talk about you. The show is called Up Close with Uniti. So let's get up close with Joe. Now, I want to read this because I want to make sure I get it right. Folks have said about your leadership skills that when you report to Joe, you don't work for him, you work with him. So it seems like you take a very shoulder to shoulder, down in the trenches type of approach with your staff, right? And a lot of leaders would like to say that they do the same, but they struggle. So let me ask you this question. How have you been able to manage, you know, being able to you know, work in such a huge market in the Southeast and still be able to take that shoulder to shoulder approach with everyone, not only your managers, but the reps, everyone in your team?
Well, first of all, I spend more time with the people at work, and I'm almost embarrassed to say this on the phone or on the webcast, but I spend more time with the people at my work than I do my own family. And that's the result of the number of days, hours in a day and days in a week, and et cetera. And also a result of the fact that I do travel quite a bit. I love nothing more than the interactions with the customers. But I know that if those interactions aren't backed up with the proper strategy and the proper reinforcement from the post-sale process, then then those relationships, that damages my reputation personally and everyone that works with me.
Absolutely.
And so, I care about every single person on my team. I hope that they feel that. We're a larger team now, so I don't get to see everybody as much as I would like to. It's very difficult for someone at the vice president level or even higher or whatever, in a management role, to stay in the details, in the nitty gritty, sleeves rolled up, getting in there, and then also focus on strategy and such. So what I tend to do is, frankly, I put the strategy on my calendar to focus on strategy, certain amount of time. That leaves me the bulk of my time spending out in the field, which is where I love to be.
Awesome. Interesting take on it. And I'm glad that you said that. So, we talk about, you mentioned strategy, right? So again, you helped me dovetail. See, it's like we planned this, Joe. We didn't plan anything, but you're literally walking me through my next question here. You mentioned strategy. And, I'm curious to know, look, we just, last year was a tough year for everyone. Gosh, the reason why I met you and the reason why I'm working with you is because last year was a tough year for so many reasons. And so, I'm curious to see what your take is. What's the biggest challenge? We had challenges last year. What's your biggest challenge that you think, or not your biggest challenge, but the company, Uniti Fiber's biggest challenge as an organization is going to be as we face going into the rest of this year and next year?
Some of those challenges aren't foreseeable. Who knew that we would have a pandemic just, even 2 years ago? So the pandemic certainly presented some challenges for us, but we adapted really quickly. We don't have a team member at Uniti Fiber and I don't mean to make this a commercial about Uniti Fiber, but that's where I work and who I'm most familiar with. But we don't have a team member here that sat on their laurels and used the pandemic as an excuse. We did, go through the team and talk about it. We talked about being safe. We talked about adapting to not only our own personal safety, but our customer safety as well. So we brought in a few tools and stuff to help people through that. But we said COVID might be a reason for any kind of stumble in the revenue generation, which is what our jobs are. But it won't be an excuse. And because we took on that attitude, it wasn't an excuse. It didn't become one. We beat our numbers last year, which were higher than the year before. There was no relief because of the worldwide pandemic. So we continued to grow year over year last year, and this year we're absolutely killing it. And so I'm very excited about that. The challenges going forward, I think, are just managing growth, making sure that we don't burn out, because we are all so dedicated and we all focus so hard on our business that we have to have that balance of family and our lives outside of work. So we're, healthy mentally and physically to be able to continue to push forward in our jobs. And I'm happy to say that, the bulk of my team does that. We do have some workaholics on the team. And, I've talked to many of our employees on the weekends, and, we keep reminding each other we need to take a break here and there. And so, in the world of Zoom and WebEx and so forth, people fill every crevice in your calendar. So we have to actually block out time for ourselves for strategic thinking, for just meditation, relaxation, or whatever on our calendars, just so we don't go crazy.
Right. No, you're 100% right. I mean, it's critical. And so, one of those things in terms of strategy, now, obviously we don't want to give all our secrets away, right? We're on live. People are watching us, on the internet right now. So I don't know who those people are. It may be some of our competition watching. And if you're there, hi competition, we're coming to get you. But what I want to say in terms of, I've noticed being here for the short amount of time that I've been at Uniti, when we talked about the challenges that we faced as a country, right? You as a leader, as the VP of sales, decided, hey, we're going to try to implement some tools to try to help the sales team out to reach customers better and be a little bit more creative in our approach. So there was, different vendors that you brought in and different things, different sales tools that you use to help the sales team innovate and grow and be better. So what I'm curious to say, I want to know from your perspective, in your position, at your seat, your go-to-market strategy. How do you implement, like, how do you take what's in your mind and decide, I'm going to implement this strategy and get everybody on board? Because sometimes that could be difficult, right? You have sales, especially salespeople. You've been in sales, like you said, a long time. You know, the one thing we hate is change, but change is inevitable in our industry. So how do you take an idea that you have and you say, I know this is the direction I want to take the department, and it's going to be uncomfortable, but how do you implement those strategies?
Well, so that's a big question and could, take a whole lot of time to answer that and enable our competition all at the same time. But I'll say this, we take a very collaborative approach. We include the salespeople. We try to solve problems closest to the edge. Everybody, all the data centers are trying to push stuff out to the edge, right? Well, we're doing the same thing. We try to push decisions out to the edge where the problems are closest, and where the people that are, experiencing those issues, challenges, or whatever you want to call them, know what's going to fix them. And so we do some quarterly meetings where we all get together as sales management. And some of we bring our sales engineers in because they're on the ground forces as well. And we strategize about, how we're doing, what do we need to do differently? What do we need to continue to do well? So we meet regularly to do that. And we collaborate with all the shareholders, all the stakeholders in any decisions we make. Now, that's not to say that we do everything by committee, because if you do that, you'll get analysis paralysis and you won't ever get anything done in the right amount of time. So we do spend quite a bit of time collaborating and so forth, but at the end of the day, the decisions fall on our leaders, and we really take those decisions seriously because we know how it impacts our customers, our employees, and our shareholders. So
awesome. Well, as we start to wind down here, we're coming close on the 30-minute mark. I can go longer, but Joe can't go. He's got to get back to work, right? I got to get back to work. He wants me to get back to work.
That's right.
But I had a question for those of you guys. Again, I'm with Joe Patton, the Vice President of Sales with Uniti Fiber. Welcome if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on LinkedIn. Feel free to ask any questions in the chat. Well, I did get a question. I got texted while you were talking. And some folks wanted to know, Uniti Fiber is not a normal ISP, right? If you look at us on the, let me read the question so I could get it direct. We're not a ISP, we're a REIT. So can you explain the difference between REIT and an ISP?
Well, that's like saying, can you tell me the difference between a giraffe and an orange? A REIT is a real estate investment trust. And it's the construct in which we, manage our assets. But the difference in Uniti Fiber and an ISP is vast. An ISP is an internet service provider. Uniti Fiber owns the infrastructure that we provide all of our technology services over. And at the beginning of this call, you mentioned a lot of services we offer, internet, wavelengths, SD-WAN, private networks, dark fiber, voice services, and a lot of managed services, managed router, managed firewall, managed security. All kinds of wonderful services. But, when people ask me what, my elevator pitch, if you will, what do you guys do? I always start off with, we do a lot. We use technology to change your life and make your life better. So let me flip the script and ask you, what do you do? And when they start telling me, I'm a doctor at a hospital or something, I say, we have a ton of healthcare companies as customers that rely on us for, HIPAA compliance and all kinds of, security and networking. And so, what makes us different than an ISP is limiting to an internet service provider. And, there's a whole lot of those out there. We do sell internet, but just a tremendous amount of technology more than just internet.
Yeah. Awesome stuff, Joe. And, I'll tell you this from my perspective, we're talking about up close with Uniti, right? And I don't want to make this about me, but just from my perspective, when you and I sat down and we spoke, during the onboarding process and we were having our conversation, you know, I told you some of my ideas. You told me some of your ideas. You might have thought I was a little nuts and crazy. I don't know, you know, well, still remains to be seen. But you know, I remember what made it different when we were having our conversation, you said, look, this is going to be our approach. We know you're a professional. We want you to just do your thing. Make sure that we expand, obviously hit the numbers, but we want to make sure we do it in a way where we're being strategic about who we bring on board. And, you know, I told you some of my creative, you know, stuff that I wanted to do. And you said, yeah, man, let's do it. I think to this day, to be quite honest with you, for those guys, this is not to blow smoke or anything. This is the God's honest truth. Every time I have a meeting with Joe and I come up with something or I say something, he's like, yeah, let's do it. It's like, yeah, let's just do it and let's figure it out. Some things are going to work and sometimes we're going to fall flat on our face, but let's try it. Let's give it a shot. And I think that with everything changing, the way we're a digital company, we're a technology company, everything's digital now. It's like, let's try these innovative things because I think that's going to work. So from my perspective, I just want to let you know from my seat, and I think I can speak for a lot of my colleagues as well and my peers that work under you. I think that's the reason why we're excited to be here at Uniti. And then because we're excited, we can pass that enthusiasm to our customers. And then once we get our foot in the door, I think they're going to see that's the reason why we're different. And that's the reason why I wanted to create this whole, this show Up Close with Uniti, to get to see the people behind the screen like yourself. So I really appreciate that. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for all the stuff that you added today.
Thank you, Jonathan, and you're dead on. You know, we learn more from our failures than we do our successes, right? So if we're not in constant learning mode, then we're failing ourselves. And I love the diversity we have on our team, from skill sets to any other kind of diversity. And we learn so much from each other. We didn't coin the phrase. Let me stop that right now. But we use the phrase "iron sharpens iron" quite often at Uniti Fiber, and it's true. You know, there's so many fundamentals out there that are true, that hold true if you just stick to them. That a lot of people, you know, try gimmicky things or you name it, whatever. We try to stick to the fundamentals and use our resources. And you're a phenomenal resource for us, and friend now and family member. So we really appreciate you being part of the team and doing this for Uniti Fiber and for me.
Appreciate it. Well, for those of you who want more information on Uniti, let me just share on the screen there. Joe, can you see that?
I can.
We got our website right here. You can go to uniti.com, UNITI.com. You can get more information here. So here's something really, really cool about our website. You click on this one view here, and it'll take you to our online portal where you can actually type in your address, and you'll see our fiber network and see where exactly it is in relation to your building. So visit us on our website. We're really excited about that. It's all about being transparent. It's all about being real and sharing with you guys. So Joe, thank you very much. And let me put that website up there again, uniti.com. Joe, thank you very much. This was Up Close and Personal with Uniti. Super excited to have you on. Any last words before we let you go?
I just noticed our stock was up 3%. That's awesome. So thank you for sharing that. No, I just, I appreciate everybody who joined us today, and I love Uniti Fiber. I love working with and for our team, and we sometimes have openings. If you're in one of our markets, send us your resume, and we'll see if you can join the family.
Sounds good. Well, this was Up Close with Uniti. Joe Patton, Vice President of Sales. I'm Jonathan Otero. Happy selling to everyone out there. Take care.
Thanks a lot, Jonathan.